RT200. It's essentially a Coleman CT200, kind of in that family. And I gotta say, this thing is so much fun. Here are my grand plans. Now, a lot of guys, they get this and they just can't help themselves but to start removing the governor and adding more power and exhaust and intake and all that stuff. No. My goal is to take a bone stock RT, CT200, what have you, and I'm going to take it on a 70-mile off-road trip. What do you think? You think it's going to make it? I have no idea. It's essentially the Gambler 500. My friends and I have been doing this for about 4 years, and every year I've done it in something different, and this year I decided to try it on a mini bike, and we'll see how it does. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to make it. In full disclosure, my friends have trucks. If this thing breaks down, it's going in the back of the truck, and I'm just riding in the cab, which I really, really, really don't want to do. I want this to make it the full trip and be reliable and good to go. So, I just got this last week. I put it together, it shipped in a crate. It was $600 to my door. Really good deal, I think, in my opinion. $600 for this in today's money. I mean, gosh. I was first looking at trying to buy like a used dirt bike, but they are just insanely priced right now. I don't know about where you are, but out here they are way too expensive. So, $600 to my door. All I had to do was put the handlebars on and the front tire. Now, a couple things I did have to do. Adjust the chain. It was way too loose. The Schrader valve in the front tire was completely loose, so it just was not holding air. I did have to do the old starting fluid in the tire and light it up to get the beads to set, because the beads were not set. So get ready to do that if you purchase this shipped to your door. I think if you buy it at Walmart or Tractor Supply or what have you, I think this will be completely assembled. So I've just put maybe 4 miles on this thing. It did foul the spark plug. I'm not sure if I put in too much oil or what exactly, but I drained a little bit of the oil out because it seemed like the oil level was a smidge high. I replaced the spark plug with an NGK, and so far it has been golden. Let's take it for a little spin. Alright, it's completely cold right now. Engine is not warmed up. I just pulled it out. I'm actually going to do an oil change in preparation for this upcoming trip. So I'm going to get it a little bit warm before I drain the oil. Let's go. Choke on, ignition on. One pull, choke off. It seems to be pretty reliable so far. It is a little cold-blooded. Not too bad. Thoughts on this little Real Tree / Coleman. Now, it says it's a Real Tree, it's branded under the Real Tree, but if you look at the pamphlet, it all says Coleman. So, it is the Coleman CT200, and it is a lot of fun. Like I said, I have had motorcycles my entire life, just about. I've had big bikes, small bikes, 4-strokes, 2-strokes, trail bikes, adventure bikes. I've had them all. I wasn't expecting a fast bike with this, and in fact, I wasn't expecting it to be so big. I had never seen one of these in person, and it's a little bit bigger than what I thought. That's neither a pro or a con. It's just, it is a little bigger, which is nice because it fits my big frame pretty well. You know, I'm 6'1", I'm 230 pounds, and this thing goes around just fine. I honestly don't want any more top speed. Maybe a little bit more torque. Now, this is pretty flat out here. I will say, it's a pretty flat country. There are a couple hills, but where I'm going out into the woods for this trip that we're going to take, it's going to have a lot more hills. So I'm really curious to see if this little engine is going to overheat, if the clutch is going to handle my big frame going up a hill for an extended period of time. And on top of that, it is forecasted to be 105 degrees. So, will this engine overheat being hit to the max? I'm going to ride it hard. I'm going to ride it hard, and we'll see if it comes out on the other side. Some things to note about the ride quality, ride characteristics. Now, these big tires, they're really a welcome sight. When you're going straight, it soaks up the rocks. Those big rocks, it's not too bad. The tires provide a little bit of cushion with that. I will say, when you start to turn, these tires don't dig in and really grab like a skinnier knobby would. I think it's too flat. You don't have as much traction on the side, so when you get sideways a little bit, you're trying to accelerate through a turn, it washes out on you. Now, that definitely has to play with the terrain I'm on. I'm on some loamy, soft, sandy soil, and two-wheeled vehicles out here definitely struggle, but I will say this is one of the most stable two-wheeled motorcycle-y things I've ever ridden out here on this terrain. With these big tires, it's almost like a Yamaha TW200 where it just soaks up the terrain while you're straight. It doesn't really like to turn, and you've really got to push it into a corner to get it to go sideways. It doesn't like to be there. It really doesn't. It's unstable. It's wishy-washy, but you know, you're not going very fast, so it's all fine. It's all just fun, kind of a little quirk of the bike. The suspension, as to be expected from a cheap $600 little Chinese bike, it leaves a lot to be desired. However, I'm really glad it's there. It is way better than if this were just a solid fork, so I will take it. I will absolutely take it. I don't really feel the need to improve upon it right now. We'll see after I continue to ride it. But honestly, I'm not trying to drop another $1,000 into this. That's not what I really like about this. I like that it's cheap, inexpensive, and it's pretty decently well made for what you're getting, I think. So, hopefully they don't break on me. That's the only con, potentially not maybe as strong as a solid fork, but I'll take it. The other thing that's actually really annoying to me personally is this muffler gets super, super hot. I mean, you cannot wear shorts for an extended period drive on this because this muffler will start to burn you. After, a quarter-mile ride, you are going to be just too hot. Way too hot. That may be something I fix in the future. I think that a straight pipe going out the back would probably fix a lot of that heat issue. The only problem is it's already kind of loud when you're on this, and it could be because the muffler is right underneath you as opposed to out the back. It's pretty loud. You cannot hear much, and I'd like it to actually be a little bit quieter. So I definitely don't want to put a straight pipe on it. The other thing is I need it to have a spark arrestor, which this does have a spark arrestor. Thank you for that. I'll ride in the woods. It is a huge fire hazard out here in the summer, and I don't want to have to worry about putting sparks out on this. I'm not riding it in the city at all. So it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. I hope that it makes it for the trip. I'm going to do a couple of preparations. Like I said, I have probably just put a few miles on this total. I'm going to do an oil change. I'm going to lube up the chain. I'm going to check the spark plug. I'll probably put a new one in just because to make me feel safe, put some fresh gas in it. And then we are off to the woods. And hopefully this thing comes out on the other side. The last thing I need to do before I take this little mini bike on a trip is I want to get a baseline speed just in case it breaks. This is the Loamy Loop lap time. The Loamy Loop is a track, it's about 3/4 of a mile. It goes around my property. I've taken a lot of little vehicles on it, and here are the times I thought were fun to throw up. Now, fastest time, me 2:11 on the Suzuki King Quad 500. And the other motorcycle I had when I was here, I no longer have it, but I had a Honda XR 650L. I did a 225. And on a bicycle, a pedal bicycle, I did a 344. So, RT200, what are you going to bring? Some of the other times, Mom, not so fast. My sister, Tessa, I literally rode a bicycle at the same time you posted. Oh, that's pretty funny. All right, let's go. So the rules of the Lomi Loop lap time. Time starts while you are stopped. You say go, you accelerate out. The time stops when you come to a complete stop at the finish line. I've got the camera mounted on the handlebars and will hopefully be a little bit less bumpy than when it was mounted on my chest. So we'll see. Let's go. On your marks, get set, go. Stop. Oh my god. That was so much fun. I don't even know what my time was. It didn't feel fast, but it was awesome. Unfortunately, you can see my little camera mount. It started to get a little slidey, so towards the end, you just got my front wheel. But it recorded the whole time, so now I've got to go crunch numbers and see what my Lomi lap time was on the RT200. The Lomi Loop. I do believe I just ran oh, this is hard, a 2:47. Yes, a 2:47. What? Way faster than I was expecting. I didn't think I was going to break the 3-minute mark. A 2:47? Dang, that's really not that far off from a big old bike. Granted, that thing weighs a lot more. The center of gravity on this thing is way lower. It really helps you out turning, but this thing can't turn. I almost washed it out. I think 2, maybe 3 times I almost washed this out and fell flat on my face, but I was able to save it. There's definitely room for improvement on that 2:47. However, I guarantee nobody on this board is going to break that record. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who could, But all I really care about are my friends and family. They are not going to break it. So the record stays. I don't have any desire to hop back on the saddle and try and make it a little bit faster. Now, I can tell you right now, this 211, that's probably like my 30th lap. That is definitely not my first lap. And this was entirely my first lap. So if it ever gets broken, I think I could shave off a few seconds. Not too much. But man, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. The next time you see me, I will be taking this little mini bike on a 70-mile journey through the woods. I will see you then. Take care, guys.